It's a very cheap artillery option. People are complaining that Japan don't have a long-range artillery option, like the Hummel has a range of about 150 or 200, something like that, or maybe in 250. Yeah, I think it was 250. But Japan's the only faction with no really long-range artillery. You kind of have to get in close. But that doesn't really matter because Japan had this really nice 200mm rocket mortar that it's fire and forget. You fire it, the rocket travels, and then you can move it immediately after, and it can reload after it moves. And it's tiny, so it's a tiny, nimble, very powerful, can take out a medium and even some heavy tank artillery piece that you just fire and forget. And I love to use that 200mm rocket mortar against enemy artillery. You just sneak it in close. Japan's very sneaky. Our soldiers found that out the hard way on islands like Iwo Jima, where the Japanese had snipers and trees and a massive cave network killing our dudes. Well, anyway, so Japan's really sneaky. So you get things like that rocket mortar, which are really fun and fun to use when you fire it and then move it, so to keep the enemy guessing where the hell it is. Seems like my ally is doing a good job locking down the middle. What he's doing is, you see, he's spreading out his infantry. You don't see any squads together bunched up. That's stupid, because then one HE shell or one grenade can wipe them all out. He has them all over the place to give them line of sight, B, let him have infantry everywhere to respond to situations, and C, there is no C. I'm just making shit up. So he has infantry everywhere. You see them hiding behind cover, behind sandbags. They're in this big warehouse-looking building. They're closer to his base, behind more sandbags. Some of them are obscured by tall cover, and he just managed to hit a Sherman with a heat round with infantry hiding in cover. So infantry are very good in options to lock down strategic points. You can have them hiding everywhere, and a bazooka man hiding and popping out when a tank comes out. It's a very cost-effective and sneaky way to counter expensive enemy tanks like this Sherman, which got knocked out by a unit that only cost 6 points. So that was good play on the mid. Yeah, the camera view actually missed something on the left. I pulled something pretty epic on the left. Like I said before, that Type 92, the APC with 5 machine guns, is a very good light raid option because it's very fast. It has 5 machine guns. Like I said before, those Type 99s are very accurate. And they're laid out, so it's pretty much 360-degree coverage. So they're a good raiding option if you just drive around behind enemy lines. They'll shoot up enemy infantry. And I managed to steal one of their AT guns. I killed the crew and just jacked the AT gun. It's the Type 92 can tow things. So I'm just using like distracting operations on the left. I'm not really playing that seriously. I think our opponents were respectable, but they weren't nearly as good as my ally 9 skill. So, but here, as you can see, it's 150mm artillery. Boom! Really big explosion. I think it's comparable to a Hummel. And I finally caught on that they're building M5s ad infinitum. So I'm countering it with my really cheap, really effective artillery option. The Japanese also have another really neat unit. It's a mortar truck. They also have normal mortars, so you can use a mortar truck or a normal mortar. Obviously, the mortar truck is a little bit more expensive and it's a bigger target. But the mortar truck's a good option if you want mobility. It's very fast. You just zoom in, fire a few shells, and zoom out. What you see on the map currently is a very, very interesting unit. This is it's called the SSD. It's a minesweeper and a tank with 5 flamethrowers all packed into one. That's right, 5 flamethrowers. It's about 4 too many. 1 flamethrower is already pretty damn good. But this thing is just hilarious. It's really, in an urban environment, it's just unstoppable. It could light pretty much anything on fire. Look at that. Like all the flamethrowers give it almost a 360-degree effective field of fire. You don't have to worry about infantry sneaking up on your sides because there's a flamethrower on the side. It also has a machine gun, which I find kind of comical. If you have a flamethrower, why do you need a machine gun too? On the left we have another Sherman coming up. It looks like it's trying to destroy the mortar truck. Again, my ally has a sneaky dude with a bazooka. Sherman dead. Like I said before, Japanese infantry are very effective at being sneaky, and well, they're good up front too, but they're very good infantry in general. And if you support your infantry with bazookas or heat rounds in this case, then they're very effective. Always support your infantry with either Japan's light tanks or their really cost-effective artillery or whatnot. Looks like the game's wrapping up. We almost have the 1,200 points needed to win. Actually, they're not doing so hot. They have 0 out of 1,200 points. In fact, I really don't know why I shoutcasted this game, because it's not a very close game at all. We're kicking their asses. But I think it's still a pretty neat way to kind of introduce you to some of the units that the Japanese faction have. And I covered my favorites already. The Minesweeper / Flamethrower tank, which is really good for urban operations. Sometimes your enemy just digs in and garrisons every single building, and that's really annoying, and that flamethrower pretty much obliterates everything in an urban environment. You also have the really light support tank, the Hago, and or the really sneaky rocket artillery, and their fantastic infantry. Japan's a very good infantry faction, and they give you options to support that infantry. So I hope you learned a little something. I'll appreciate your comments as always, and happy gaming.